First of all, on behalf of the men and women of the Albuquerque Police Department, we would like to welcome you here as we celebrate our Real-Time Crime Center receiving a national award for its wonderful work. In 2013, Chief Ray Schultz, who you see to my left, had seen a gap. And that was a gap in providing our officers who were responding to calls critical information that they may need about the call that they were responding to. And that became the foundation of the Real-Time Crime Center. Since that time, it has expanded. It's one of 17 in the United States that provides our officers with real-time information as they need it, as they're responding to calls. As a result of the work of the director of the Real-Time Crime Center, we now have public-private partnerships, which have proven to be very beneficial for us. So today, as a part of their conference, the International Association of Law Enforcement Planners is presenting to the Albuquerque Police Department this very prestigious award. And I would like to ask Chief Ray Schultz and Barry, would you come up to the podium, and TJ, come up to the podium. Ray, come on up, please. Bill, come on up. Barry?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm the Training and Certification Coordinator for the International Association of Law Enforcement Planners. And the award that's being presented today is the Phil E. Keith Project of the Year Award, named after retired Chief Phil Keith from the Knoxville Police Department, who is a pioneer in research planning in our organization. The award recognizes significant innovation and expertise in an area of our profession that benefits all members of the profession. So that's operationally, administratively, etc. Your Real-Time Crime Center is one of those types of projects. It was in all the years that I've been evaluating the award winners for this project, I will say, and not because the cameras are rolling, but I will tell you that this is the most impressive submission I've ever seen. Your department was a previous winner of this award a few years ago for your very impressive, one of your new facilities here in your city. But this, as impressive as that was, this project blows that away, in my opinion. So it gives me great pleasure to present this award to Chief Eden and the staff. I know Bill Slauson, who nominated this award on your behalf, but there's many men and women behind this award. And there's no doubt a complex initiative like a Real-Time Crime Center involves a lot of people. And it's just a terrific award and a great accomplishment. So Chief, I'd like to present you with this award and your staff.
Thank you very much. TJ?
Thank you very much. And first off, you're absolutely right. It took the hard work of a lot of people, many of which are in this room, that spent countless hours in this very room that you see here. Hours of meetings and talk and theory, doing things that had never been done before in law enforcement. And I'm honored that Chief Schultz is here because a meeting I had with him, and I remember the date in June 2011 when we sat down, and it was just a thought at the time. And we sat down at quarters on Yale, and he drew some of his ideas out on a napkin. And then he looked at me and he got kind of emotional. He said, you know what? Sometimes I wonder if we had something like this on August 18th, 2005. And that stuck with me. It motivated me. And it motivated many people who are here, like Nick Sanders, Felipe Garcia, Bill Slauson. We've got Kristen Woodward, who spent countless hours on the project, Sarah Masick, Aubrey Thompson, who somehow found money for us. Thank you. And the leadership we've had here, even with Chief Eden coming in, he's pushed us to go further and pushed us to go further. And we're trying to live up to that challenge, Chief. So we appreciate that. We're going to do everything we can to continue to be a leader in this industry in law enforcement. So thank you, sir.
Ray, I know you didn't come prepared to say something, but if you would, please.
Oh, thanks, Chief. One, I'm very, very proud of all the members of the Albuquerque Police Department. And we've, as an organization, have been under a lot of pressure and have taken a lot of heat since 2010. And there's been a lot of comments made about, has the department learned anything from all these critical incidents that we've been involved in? Well, this is a perfect example. This center was created because we have learned from every one of these events. And it started with the death of Officer King and Officer Smith. And we realized that that time that was used to move resources from the time the call comes into 911 was doing nothing other than moving resources from point A to point B. The Real-Time Crime Center allows us to take that time and research where we're going to, the people we may be interacting with, and provide that information to the officers so they can make better, more informed decisions. And there's no doubt in my mind that the creation of this center has really helped this community. It has helped save people's lives and has helped prevented injuries to officers. Since I've retired, I've been talking about real-time crime centers around the world. Just like Crime Stoppers started here in 1976, I am convinced that the real-time crime center concept, as it is here in Albuquerque, is the way of the future. And we can thank all the people in this room for making that happen.
Thank you, Ray. Bill?
Thank you. There's not very much more that I can say that hasn't been said already. It's just that it was a great project. You know, projects like these don't come about, you know, with just one person. It's a group of people, and I just want to thank everybody that was involved, and I especially want to thank Chief Schultz for that vision, because he was the first person to talk to TJ and say, you know what, this is something that we really, really need to do. And we all gathered around and did it for a very inexpensive price compared to a lot of other facilities around the country. And it's been very, very innovative that we provide information before an officer gets to the call location, so that they can adjust tactics one way or another, and it makes them better prepared and hopefully avoid some of the tragedies that have befallen the department in prior years. So I'm just extremely proud and blessed to work with such a great group of people. Thank you.
So, any questions?
Yes, Chief.
Yes.
Obviously, there's a lot of things that came to creating this real-time crime center. How is it helping officers out in the field today?
So when an officer is dispatched to a call, the Real-Time Crime Center has that call in front of them, and they're able to provide those responding officers with information about prior contacts at that address. Had they been at that address, and what were the calls and what were the outcomes? Before that information, while it may have been available, because of the way the 911 system is set up, we weren't able to provide that information to the officers. So it helps our officers be well informed if we have a history on that address, that particular address, or if a person calls in and says this is the person that is committing the crime, we're also able to provide them with any type of history that the department may have had in interacting with that individual. You know, TJ talked about where's the future. One of the things that we want to do is be able to push out critical information to everyone. So in the event that we have to block off a neighborhood, or in the event of a tragic accident on one of the interstates, we want to be in a position where we're able to push that information out to our media partners immediately, so they can inform their watchers or their listeners as to what is occurring. We don't want to use it just for law enforcement support to our officers. We want to take it one step further and be able to provide that information quickly and rapidly. We're also looking at what can we do more in the areas of Amber Alerts and Silver Alerts. These are all things that Albuquerque has a great history of being able to locate people that are in danger or maybe a danger to themselves through the Silver Alert and through the Amber Alert. So these are all things that we still are working on. This is the direction we want to go. And I firmly believe that given the history of this center, it has helped our officers perform better on their calls for services.
And Chief Schultz, I'm sorry. Hello, Chief Schultz. Chief Gordon, as far as a specific incident that the media has covered, where this has come into play and helped everyone out, can you talk about that specific incident?
Well, I can talk about many incidents, but TJ can tell you about some of the incidents where you haven't covered, where we've received information where it's not what the eyewitnesses thought they saw. So TJ, would you like to share that with them?
We have been involved in many incidents. A lot of times we are behind the scenes and we don't know what the final outcome is. We've been instrumental in helping solve some homicides. One incident in particular that Chief Eden is talking about, using the APD video network, our first week or two that we were open after we had the news conference, because we have Blake Slaughterburgers hooked up into the center, we had a robbery that occurred, and we were able to pull up images of the suspects. The witness's description was completely off. It was completely different than what we were being told. We were able to get those images to the officers in their cars thanks to the 4G network that our IT division set up. And one of the officers recognized the individual, got there, and identified him, and we had him in custody within a few hours. So the number of robberies that happened at Blake's have dropped dramatically since becoming a part of our video network, our public-private partnership.
But is there a more high-profile crime that we might have visuals of that we could say this happened at this?
We were, there was a recent homicide, I believe, when officers fired at or in which the suspects had fired at us. I don't know, you'd probably know the names better than what we do. I know the general incident, and where once they fled, we were able to locate them on our cameras.
Do you know the address or the date?
It was one in the North Valley where they actually fired at our officers. I can get with you and get you more information. So we've got the team that was working that day is up for an award right now for the work that they did. So I can get you further information. It happened in August.
Mr. Schultz, formerly Chief Schultz, obviously what happened back in 2005 was very personal. Is this what you envisioned? Is this what you had hoped for? And is this something that's a bit of a legacy for you? Obviously, Crime Stoppers was years ago. People will look back and say, Ray Schultz got the ball rolling.
It's not a legacy for me. This is obviously, it was a department project, and the goal, as I said before, is to get more information to the hands of officers. And we can check, before we could check one database, as Chief Eden said, we could check our call history, but now the team has created the network to be able to access about 15 different databases. So maybe we have not had a call at that particular location, but based on associated names and people who may be associated with that house, we can see that there's criminal records in the Department of Corrections. We can also check to see if there's prior mental health issues going on with that person. But it's not just the house and the person, it's also checking the entire neighborhood to see if there's other issues going on. So the officers are not just going to a house, they're going with much more information about what's happening in that community so they can address it holistically. But it's a project that has caught the eye of a lot of people. The assistant director of HSD, I believe, was here just a couple weeks ago, looking at this as a model. The country had built many fusion centers, but the fusion centers were built primarily to support after officers get there to help in the area of terrorism. Well, you've got all these great centers around the country, nobody has taken it to the level that Albuquerque has. And that's what makes this unique, is it's supporting field officers en route to calls for service. And it's those private-public partnerships that take us to the next level. And to have access to video networks, whether it's restaurants or banks or I know there's testimony going on in a case right now where the Real-Time Crime Center helped to go and see, hey, was the story that was being told accurate or not based on video feeds that were coming from other intersections. And so that case is going on right now in district court.
And another question for TJ. Can you speak to the number of crimes that have been solved in the past year, let's say, with the help of this, and also the budget?
We've been involved in, actually next week, we're scheduled to be involved in our 20,000th high-risk call. 20,000 already. It's amazing.
In 1 year?
Yes, in 1 year, just a little over a year.
Since January 1st, or?
It'd be March 1st of the previous year. So it'd be a little over a year that we've been involved in that many high-risk calls. I'm sorry, what was your question?
So that was one, and then the second question was, how many taxpayer dollars are going into this program, and because it's so successful, are there plans to expand it?
Okay. We do want to expand. Chief Eden and Chief Huntsman, they've given me several directives to get some things done. Challenging as it will be, I feel is very challenging what Chief Schultz told me back in June of 2011, and we hope to do that. The budget to build this was $850,000. Memphis built their facility, I believe it was between 3 and 6 million. New York City was 11 million. We got ours under $1 million thanks to the creative work of Bill Slauson and Aubrey Thompson. A lot of the personnel you see up here have been reallocated and reassigned from different divisions. Thanks to City Council this past year, they budgeted 3 more additional positions for us. I think a little cost over $100,000. So just to kind of give you an idea of where we're at, this wasn't so much of us adding to the operating budget. We didn't do that at all. In fact, more than half of our staff is comprised of injured officers who, before we came along, they were working at the desks of area commands with very little to do. Now, they are involved in critical incidents. They're still law enforcement officers. We don't need their cop body right now. We need their cop brain. And that's what they do. And they help their fellow officers out in the streets while they're recovering. I can tell you there have been more than a dozen cases, thanks to the Daily 49 and APD TV, that officers have been in briefings and they've recognized a homicide suspect or a robbery suspect, thanks to the work of Troy Simpson and his staff, that they've been able to put out and help solve.
And just to clarify, it's a $100,000 annual operating budget?
The annual operating, I can get the exact number because I have to. We took a division and merged it into this one about a year ago, so I'll get you the exact figure on the operating budget with all the salaries and everything. Okay.
I have one last one.
Sure.
It's probably almost impossible to quantify or tally up how many officers' lives might be saved, how many positive outcomes for perfs. It's hard to measure how successful something like this could be.
Well, I believe you can measure success by what other people are doing to copy you. And we've had people come here from police departments from all over the United States to look at this. We are currently entering into a partnership with the Albuquerque office of the FBI for them to be a backup because they've recognized how important this facility is. And for some reason, if we had some type of a catastrophic failure here, we would have a backup system in place with the FBI. So I think that's how you really measure success, is when you have people coming to look to see what you're doing, and then they see the value, they hear the value. I think that speaks highly of how well the RTCC is working.